Hey, so this is our first episode of a new podcast that we're working
Mm.
on.
Mhm.
Um, Bob, you want to go first?
Sure. I feel like I'm in grade school again. Or it's elementary school, right? In
Element
the
in the
States. Is
States.
that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's a good segue into introducing myself because I am based out of Canada, Toronto, Ontario. I am a musician and writer, and Jeremiah and I met through Letterboxd, I believe, a couple years ago. And so we've kind of formed a bond through similar interests in messed up Japanese movies and horror movies.
As all psychos do, by their
Yeah,
mutual love for all things screwed up, and
yeah.
it's been a honeymoon ever since. But yeah, so that's it. I think today's episode, we don't have a concrete, clearly defined itinerary. We're going to still kind of feel this thing out. And, we'll start, obviously, we started with our introduction, but I think we want to first go over our last four letterbox since we said that that was how we met in the first place. I think that'd be a good
Mhm.
segue into that. So, Bob, you
Okay.
want to go first and go over the last four
Sure.
movies?
Yeah, why don't we go back and forth?
Sure, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'll have mine ready.
Um, and I'll go with I guess the later entry. So, I think it was actually a week ago I watched Thriller: A Cruel Picture from 1973. It's a
Such a good
Swedish
one.
exploitation film
Yeah.
by Vibenius. I don't know.
I
That's such a cool last name,
It
and
is. It's pretty cool.
immediately made me think of Vibe Genius
The
put together with a V.
the,
You know what I
the
mean?
only
Like Vibe Genius.
that's the only name for a person that could have come up for with a movie like that, I'll tell you.
The Vibe Genius, yeah.
Vibe Genius.
Um, in reviewing it, someone recommended another film of his to check out,
Yeah.
which is actually like a full-on adult film. So I'm not in a rush to see that one, but I will say, but I will say, this film was fantastic. I did see it maybe back around like 2006. I remember renting it from a video store that used to be around in Toronto for a long time, Suspect Video. And I remember at the time thinking it was like pretty sleazy and kind of slow and weird, which were things I just wasn't into at the time.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, okay,
You can't
it's
get
an
enough.
artful film. Yeah.
He's gorging on him
Um,
now.
yeah, all this stuff in the back end of the film, the revenge sequences all slowed down and everything are just incredible to watch now. And it really is such a detailed kind of I want to say descent, but because she turns it all around and kills everyone so good, it's kind of an ascent in a way, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Definitely had me fist pumping at the end. I was just
Yeah,
uh,
but in
uh,
slow motion, you're like
yeah. Yes.
that was also a moment where I realized the audio version of this won't be as powerful as the video.
Oh, I
Because
know.
I did it in slow motion, but I didn't actually make any audible sound. So
Yeah.
you
It's
did
fine.
though, so I
Yeah.
appreciate that. You got
Yeah.
my
I
back.
got you. I got you.
Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it really. I thought it was beautiful, and I do want to put it up on the website in the classic review section. So
Okay.
I'll
Cool.
do that this week. Yeah, it was great. I was saying the sleaze factor in it was pretty jarring, and the hardcore inserts were kind of like that's something that you need to give people a heads up about.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. So you did see the
yeah,
hardcore version.
I don't think there was the option to not
Watch
have
the other
that.
one. Okay.
Yeah, because I got the Vinegar Syndrome 4K of it, which was I'm glad I got it, but I didn't find it that drastically
Like improved by being on.
impressive.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, if you told me that was just a straight up Blu-ray,
Yeah. You'd
I
have
would have
believed it.
believed you.
Yeah.
But all that tells me, because I know Vinegar Syndrome's restoration skills are so incredible that
That's about as good
it
as you're
really
saying
must
that.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it must have had a print that they found like underneath the Grindhouse Theater, just like
Yeah.
covered in
Yeah.
cobwebs. So.
it's
Yeah.
already a miracle in itself that we're getting any kind of physical release for some of these films, let alone
Yeah.
4K. Like it's getting rescanned, it's insane.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I like it. I like it's a good time to be alive, man.
Yeah,
The way a lot
totally.
of these films are being unearthed, and all these forgotten treasures. It's like someone's digging through like a trash bin.
Mhm.
They're like, "You threw this away? Are you
Yeah,
nuts?"
yeah.
They're like,
I'm just
Okay, put it in the
I'm
microwave
just
and reserve
yeah.
it."
I'm just so stoked that we're finally getting more Asian films
Mm,
resurrected.
yeah,
So I
big
feel like
time.
this year especially, we're gonna see a lot more Category 3 films popping up,
Hmm.
and hopefully more Japanese stuff that's needs to desperately be, resurrected, so,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, you now on to your film.
Okay. So I'll start with the most recent, work my way backwards. I watched, I think it says Road Meat, and that was by
Okay.
Bill Bragg. It's his only movie. I like that Bill Bragg. We've got this theme now, directors
Wait,
with fun
is
names.
that Billy Bragg?
It just says Bill
Like
Bragg. Let me see.
'cause I saw that you had that on Letterboxd, and I
Yeah,
was kinda confused. I thought that because you know Billy Bragg, like, folk singer, I think he is, Billy Bragg?
Billy Bragg
Singer-songwriter Billy.
with two
Yeah.
G's. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Did he direct this movie?
No, there's no way. No, he's just no. He's not. He has nothing to do with this movie. I don't
I
think.
kinda wanna check the Wikipedia and see.
Now I'm doubting myself. Hold on.
Yeah, was it a political film? Because he's kind of a political
No.
activist.
I mean, you know what? It was definitely really heavy on social commentary. Very heavy.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, it definitely is a movie that's anti-conservative,
Okay.
anti-capitalist. Um,
Sweet.
yeah, I don't know if it's him. When
You
I
said 1983?
Yeah, it was 1989 actually.
Oh, sorry, 89. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it on the Wikipedia page, so
Yeah,
I feel like that
they
would
have
be
it
on there.
as yeah, it has it as Bill Bragg, you know. Maybe the Braggs don't
Oh,
fall
yeah.
far from the tree, you know what I mean? And they
Yeah. Well,
so
maybe we're just all suffering from the same political turmoil,
yeah, it
like
could very well be the case,
yeah,
man. It's
yeah.
We all experience the same awakening. So yeah, this movie was basically, if you remember the movie, have you seen I think Psycho's in Love?
Yeah, I love that one.
Okay, so it's kind of like that film, but take away 95% of its budget and
Oh,
go
no.
much heavier on the social commentary, less
Okay.
subtle. And this one's even zanier. Like it's just kind of all over the map. Basically, these this newlywed couple, and they were both inhabiting. They were both they both come from the same asylum. Uh,
Mm,
some I forgot the name for the criminally insane someplace institution, and they're released, and as part of an experiment, they were married to each other, and I'm not
oh,
sure what they were hoping that would accomplish. Like to me, I'm like, you just put like two people that are just gonna enable each other, like
oh,
to.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm not really sure what the solution. Like misfits find each other or something. But in this
Mhm.
case, the results were, they speak for themselves, and in that, it's killing spree across I think the Midwest, and yeah, it's like the misadventures of like like a more insane Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing. They're just going from spot to spot. But it's weird because it looks like they're doing community service too. Um,
Oh,
because there's one scene where they're like on the side of the road and they're picking up trash, with the little poker
mhm.
sticks and stuff, and then someone disturbs them and gets on their nerves, and then they kill them. And so I'm not really sure. The movie's it doesn't make now that I'm reflecting on it, it makes no sense. The movie makes
Yeah.
absolutely no sense. It's just an excuse. That's really what this is. An excuse to move this couple from kill scene to kill scene to kill scene. That literally is it.
Sometimes that's all it is though, right? If you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about it, you know?
Yeah, and it's 78 minutes, so it's a brisk, brisk
Oh,
runtime. So
love that runtime.
yeah, and some of the people, without spoiling any of the deaths or anything like that, but some of the people they have the misfortune of coming across, and I say that to them, like for them, because these people
Mm.
suck. So, not that they deserve to die, but it's kind of just like, for as far as movies like these go, it's like, yeah, you could
Right.
pick perfect victims, I guess.
But
Um,
are the killers likable? Like the 2 killers? Like you're
yes,
kind of
I
rooting
hate
for
to.
them or
Yeah, I don't know if I'm saying I'm rooting for them, but I
Okay.
like them. Yeah, they've got so much chemistry. They're hilarious.
Okay.
They've got a lot of charm. There's a lot of
Yeah.
charm, and you can't help but just see what they're gonna get themselves into, and you're like,
Yeah.
whoever's in their way, too bad, you know.
Mm.
But yeah. So like, there's this like fundamentalist, ultra conservative religious cult that they come across,
Okay.
which that becomes it kind of turns into like this Rambo scene where they're hunting the couple, and then
Yeah.
it gets flipped, and it's in the woods, and it's something you'll get
That
a
sounds
kick out of.
fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And one is that, then they go after this woman who's a litter bug, and that was when they're trying to pick up the trash.
I love that
Uh,
you said litter bug. I haven't heard
yeah,
that term in so long.
yeah.
That's
And
great.
you're welcome. And oh, we can all relate with this. Like someone in the
Yeah.
drive-through that constantly gets their order wrong,
Oh,
and
okay.
they're just like fed up with her, and she has something in
This
store that
sounds
it's
so familiar.
it's just
It's
there's
kind of a
no
little
one
bit
there.
like Serial Mom.
Yeah, there's only
Yeah.
31 reviews for this thing, man. No one's seen it,
Wow.
or if they have, they're
Wait,
not
wait.
talking about it.
This is an American film?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. I think so.
89.
89.
Is
Yeah,
it shot on video?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The whole
Did you say
movie is
that
like.
already?
Well,
Huh.
I'm sorry.
Did you say that already that it was
No,
shot
no,
on
I
video?
forgot to mention it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a SOV. But
Hmm.
yeah, and it looks like it was like $13 to make this movie. But it doesn't
I'm not
stop
gonna lie,
them.
I wanna see this.
Oh
This sounds
yeah,
sick.
they're super charismatic. Oh, the
Okay.
soundtrack is phenomenal. That's what I wanted to say.
Oh, okay, okay. Here we
Yeah,
go.
it's got this like jazzy, like synth, like just pulse pounding beat to it that just kind of like doesn't feel like it belongs in the movie, but you don't
Okay.
care.
Yeah.
You're just like, it's freaking badass, man. And
Yeah, yeah.
I wish I had a vinyl just for the soundtrack for this thing, man. It's really good. And
Well, hopefully, if it comes out on Blu-ray, whoever does that will
mm,
put out the soundtrack too.
yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good. It's hilarious. It really is hilarious. And
yeah.
you can tell there's a lot of heart put into this. Like Bill
You need that,
Bragg, whoever that guy is, he knew what he was doing. He was only let down by the budget. That's it. That's
okay.
that's all it is. Yeah.
Mm,
He was there's definitely a lot of passion and heart. You'll see it.
okay.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah. How did you find out about this one?
how did I find out about this one? Oh, so I had Ronsky over um on Friday, and
Mm,
we were just like movie after movie throwing movies on, and I asked, it's like, hey, do you have time for one more? And he's like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay. So I went through my my Plex server,
okay.
and we're just going through stuff. I'm like, oh, this one looks interesting. That was literally it. And I pulled up the letter, but I was like, hey, no one's really reviewed this. But the synopsis sounds like it makes sense why I added it to my collection.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. We threw it on. We had a blast with it. Now I'm curious what he rated it. Oh yeah, he gave it 4 stars as well. So
Okay, so it's a good 4-star one.
yeah,
Which I should
yeah.
state, I gave Thriller 4.5.
Mm. Yeah,
You
Thriller.
know.
If I had to say, it's a better movie than this, but
Mm,
this can have a tendency to meander a little bit, and kind
mm.
of forgets what it's doing. And in tone, I would say the best way to describe this is it's basically like a John Waters directed trauma film.
Oh, okay, okay. Hmm.
Okay,
I
so
can
yeah,
picture that.
yep.
I kind of
So
like that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely like the John Waters aspect of that for
yeah. They're
sure.
people screaming their lines and they're
Right.
exaggerating the performance, really
Yeah.
hammy. So
Okay.
and then the kind of trauma hijinks just really over the
Yeah.
top stuff. But yeah, that's Road Meat. So your turn.
Cool. Cool. All right. So I'm going in the other direction. So I watched Wolf Guy
Sonny
on
Chiba.
yeah, January 16th. What day was that? Tuesday, I think, or Monday? Monday.
Maybe. I
Eh,
don't know.
doesn't really matter.
I
Yeah.
almost forgot what
But
month it was.
oh, it's February. No.
Yeah, is it?
Although it might
Okay,
be February
sure.
when this goes up, so.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, probably.
yeah, this was my second Sonny Chiba film. I
Mm,
just watched The Street Fighter for the first time a few weeks ago and was really into it. I mean, these kind of shady characters as heroes are they're really repellent and charming at the same time. You know, he's sort
absolutely.
of got that like Paul Nashy quality to him where you're like, ooh, whew. You know, like I wouldn't
Yeah,
let this guy in my house, but I'm enjoying watching him for 90 minutes do terrible
yeah,
things
yeah.
and kind of do good things. It's hard to say.
Sometimes, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. You know, it's like a level of moral ambiguity that is just
Absolutely.
so electrifying in a way, like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Um,
He's distracting you with his facial expressions, what it is. You just like
right, you pointed that out, yeah. Wolfguy didn't have as many
not as
facial
much, no.
expressions.
That was more Street
Yeah,
Fighter.
it's a really confusing movie,
Hmm.
but it's also a really entertaining movie.
Mm.
I wasn't super understanding what was going on. Because I think what really threw me off was the fact that it's called Wolf Guy and they
Mm.
allude to you know, the moon cycles and people turning into werewolves, but that never happens in the film. And it's really more about, you know, he possesses this power to be like physically, you know, incredibly strong, and which is dictated by the lunar cycle.
Hmm.
But then there's also the woman that he becomes involved with who has syphilis
Mm.
from such a horrible setup of like the rockabilly band that like sexually assaulted her and just
Yeah.
and somehow she has psychic powers to make this invisible tiger kill
Did
people
she
and
gain the
then
psychic powers from the assault, or she
I have
always
no
had
idea.
them?
Dude, I really hope that wasn't how it
I hope,
was
yeah,
written
it's
into
like,
the film. I'm like, that's not
that's kind of
that's
screwed up.
terrible. Yeah. Yeah, it was a messed up movie. Yeah, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. In that very like this is, you know, some seedy what the fuck
Yeah.
exploitation insanity. So, yeah.
Maybe
Uh
something that would fit the Something Wrong podcast. Or is it a
yeah.
lit, I don't know.
I don't think it so you've seen it before though, right? Wolf Guy? You're
No, no,
saying?
no, no. I haven't
Oh,
seen Wolf
okay,
Guy.
okay.
No.
No, it's I wouldn't say it goes that far. It doesn't lean into too much of the like really disturbing moments.
Hmm.
They're more just plot points from what I remember. There is one pretty cool scene where because I read about this going into it that there was like live surgery footage inserted and which is such a like classic exploitation trope
Yes, it
like
is, man.
you know, and I
Yeah.
think I prefer that to, you know, any kind of like animal cruelty in a film,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
just, you know, obtaining, you know, previous surgery footage that's just a close up. You'd have no idea who's
They,
actually being operated on, and then
they
throw it into a surgery
yeah.
scene.
Just splice it
Um,
in there. That's like Men Behind the Sun did the same thing.
oh,
And
yeah.
see, I
But
found that in like completely poor taste.
Oh, that film is drenched in poor taste.
Yeah, man. Oh, I hate that movie
Yeah.
so much.
I haven't seen it in ages. I've been
Yeah.
curious about watching it again, but I totally appreciate that stance.
Hmm.
But the surgery footage in Wolf Guy, I will say, is sort of inverted in a way. Like it looks like they put like a negative filter on it,
Okay.
so it ends up looking like this weird, like almost lasery looking art image
Mm.
instead of actual surgery footage. And I'm really glad they did that because
Yeah, kind of blunts it.
it's so painful to look at
Yeah.
that it actually makes it more palatable.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think that's kind of how the whole film rolls out, is that it contains a lot of disturbing and fucked up kind of content to it, but
Yeah.
a lot of it is so stylized. There's such a heavy funk rock score, and there's all these great fight scenes, so it somehow turns a lot of that into something more fun.
Yeah.
That's how I would tell Wolf Guy. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I still have that on my to watch list. I'm gonna get to that. I know
Yeah.
Arrow, I think Arrow was it that put
Yeah,
out a
it's on their
channel,
streaming
Arrow
app.
streaming
That's how I
channel?
watched it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I gave that
Cool.
4 stars.
Nice.
Mhm.
So, what do I have next? Oh, okay. Speaking of the Something Wrong podcast, I watched Rope Maiden.
Oh,
I
okay.
think Guy's first movie, maybe. I think that he made.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
So, yeah, it was my first time watching it. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I didn't know what to expect. I had my wife in the room too, so I was kind of like hesitant to throw it on. I was like, she doesn't like torture porn, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I do remember hearing that it's more comedic or and satire. Like it kind of
Yeah.
leans on it's more of a satirical take on that subgenre.
Yeah.
It was good. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was
It's
it
good.
was yeah, it was funny. Um,
Mhm.
it's wild what having a sense of humor like does to allowing you to digest certain things like otherwise
Yeah.
indigestible stuff. Yeah, so um yeah, I thought it was the shot on video aesthetic was perfect.
Mhm.
Guy's dialogue was hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, where he's talking about I think when his victim wakes up and she immediately starts screaming and he's like, "Oh man, look at how excited she is and all she saw was just ceiling. I can't wait. Imagine what she'll how she'll react when she sees the rest of the room." And then he knocks her
Oh,
out. He knocks her back out. Um,
yeah.
yeah, and then what really sent us like just completely over the edge, we were laughing our asses off, was when at the end, after he creates the human chandelier, as he puts it. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, there's Christmas lights. I don't want to say where, but I didn't expect that. I didn't expect
Okay.
I didn't expect that. So I won't say any more.
Yeah.
Um, you know, just fun to sit through the process for something as disgusting as it is, as what it is he's demonstrating.
Mm.
It was really funny, and
Yeah.
it wasn't
It's
hard
a
at
it's a
all to.
wicked concept.
Yeah, yeah, I really liked it. And then I love the inserts of these
The commercials?
this like Japanese commercials or
Yeah.
infomercials or something like that. I don't even know
Mhm.
what it was. But I guess it was nice. It was like it reminded me of Tokyo Gore Police, where they had
Oh,
these
really?
kind of like or even what's this guy's name? Who made Cold Fish and
Oh,
uh Sono,
Sono?
Sono, yeah. And
Yeah.
he did what was it?
Suicide
Suicide
Club?
Club. Yeah.
Yeah.
It had that same quirky, dark sense of humor in it. Um,
Mm.
that I saw in there. Same for Battle Royale has that where it's like this beginning where you have this really perky Japanese girl like, she's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
and get ready for, your time on the
Right,
island
right.
and you'll kill each other and da, da, da." And she's like, "All right,
Yeah.
cool." Like just making light of something that's really really dark. So,
It kinda reminds me, because I thought of this when I was watching Tokyo Gore Police. It makes me think of, like, Paul Verhoeven, because he would
yes,
do stuff
yes.
similar to that
That's so
in, like,
so
Starship
perfect.
Troopers and
Yeah.
RoboCop, you know? It's like satire taken to such a point, of like gleeful, it's just such a gleeful quality, I guess, or
It is.
gleeful
Yeah.
level. You know,
Yeah.
it's unsettling. You're like, I don't know how to
Yeah.
take this, but
It
then
even
it starts to
feels
make you think about all the like propaganda around you, like the
yeah.
commercials that you see.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
It
ooh,
feels a
which
little
I guess is what
cynical.
satire should
Yeah, it feels like
do.
it's just dripping in satire, and there's some cynicism in there, and
Yeah,
like people are just a piece of shit, you know what I mean? And you almost
yeah,
it almost kind of has this meta quality because I'm here consuming this as entertainment, like,
mhm,
and here he is in there killing someone for entertainment and making light of it as I'm making light of this thing in the first place. And it's just
right,
it's yeah, if you want to look at it and just feel like horrible about yourself for laughing in the first place. But
yeah,
I thought it was awesome. Um
yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm
It's
glad
really cool.
I'm glad I got to watch it. So I gave
Mhm.
that, I think, 4 stars.
I think I gave that one 3.5 when I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's an alternate cut, and I kind of want to check that out.
Okay.
Like I yeah, I got the DVD of that last summer after
Mm.
watching Difficulty Breathing. I bought a bunch of his films, his short
Mm-hmm.
films on DVD. But I haven't watched the alternate cut of
Okay.
Maiden. So
Where is he selling an alternate cut on his site?
I think it's on the DVD. I haven't gotten around to watching the second cut
Really? Because
yet.
we
I could be
went
wrong.
through yeah, I went through this features, at least the copy that David had brought over, and all we
Hmm.
saw were there was a gallery behind the scenes,
Okay.
um, the green screen behind the scenes, and then the director's commentary. So
Okay.
maybe there's another
Oh,
version.
yeah, because I just saw it's coming out on Black Lava, so maybe that will be
Oh,
the alternate
okay. Yeah, that might be
cut.
it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Mm.
All right, your turn.
Right. So, Friday night I watched the new Jason Eisner film, Kids versus Aliens,
Hmm.
which just came out on VOD and digital platforms on Friday. Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah.
I'd only just seen VHS 2 in the past couple months.
Mm.
So basically his segment in that the have you seen it before VHS 2?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen it. That's the
Uh
one where you have the cult one at the end or something like that.
well the cult one you probably think of the
Or am I thinking
Indonesian
of?
one. That's like right in the middle.
Okay, the Indonesian one. Yeah, yeah. It's in
Yeah.
VHS too, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh and the last segment is the Jason Eisner one, which was had a bit of like a slight jackassy feel, but it was little kids running around doing all these like stunts and pranks, and
Mm.
then it turns into them getting abducted by
Yes,
aliens.
the aliens. Okay, okay, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It,
Kids versus Aliens is pretty much that expanded into a feature film.
oh,
It's not actually that long at all. It's barely an hour 10.
okay. I like that
But
though. Not everything has to
oh,
be.
I
Yeah,
I have no problem with that. I
yeah,
think that's a
yeah,
selling point, especially as we are now seeing so many films are coming out that are like well over 2 hours, and it's
yeah.
just you know
It's
what
like
we don't have
I
all
don't
that like
know. Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And there's something to
exactly.
be said too about giving someone a tight experience of
Yeah.
just you get in and then the vice starts
Mm-hmm.
tightening, you know, and then you're done.
Yeah.
And I think Kids versus Aliens definitely nailed that.
Mm.
Um, it gets a bit Stranger Thingsy at time, especially with the synth score. But yeah, it kind of like blows past all of that at a certain point, and it's super mean spirited. The kids swear so much in it; it's crazy to the point where I kind of wonder, like, is this is this irresponsible to get kids to swear this much? But I swore my head off when I was a kid, so it's
Yeah,
probably not
yeah.
leaving
So did
any
I.
permanent damage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would be a hypocrite if I said anything, Like I don't let my kids just swear like sailors, but
Yeah,
if they did, I'm not gonna, like yeah, I get it. I did this, I was the exact same way.
right. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, the effects are great, the action's great. Honestly, it's one of those movies it's almost hard to talk about it because it just felt like it checked all the boxes it needed to. You know, you see it's called Kids versus Aliens. If you
Hmm.
watch the trailer, you will get exactly what that movie is. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? He knows what
Hmm.
it is and he bangs it out. I think it was shot a little bit better than his previous stuff. Definitely had maybe more action to it. But yeah, it was just an awesome movie, and I'd highly recommend checking it out.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
What did you score that one?
Oh, 4 stars for that one.
4 stars. All of us giving these 4 stars
I
to this
know.
movie.
4 stars is kind of my go-to rating a lot.
I think that is for me too. That is my, if I'm looking at that
Yeah.
little letterbox graph, that's
Yeah.
the, yeah,
My graph
370.
is a staircase.
Yeah, yeah, mine too.
And
But
then
then
four
there's
the
a steep,
highest and
the highest point is 4, and then there's a steep drop off to 4.5
yeah.
and 5. Like those are
Yeah.
like,
I barely give anything 5.
yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, okay, cool. Oh no. Okay, so the next movie,
Oh no.
the next movie I have is
What is it?
Jeffrey Mandel's Elves. Have you?
Oh, I've never seen that.
Oh my
No, I
God.
haven't seen it.
I don't
I
know if
know
I
of it.
can I don't know if I can recommend it. Your boy Bilal
Yeah.
Carboni,
That sounds like
he
his
he dug it.
jam.
Yeah, he dug it.
Yeah.
Let's let me just write off. I mean, it's an absolutely dreadful movie. It's terrible, terrible.
Okay.
Um, that's where the charm lies. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
it's almost bordering on, so like, oh, so bad it's good, right? This is
Yeah.
bordering on that and just being bad, and just being like,
Okay.
no. So it,
Yeah.
but the highs for me, there's so much quality, so bad it's good content in it. Um, I I'm just gonna say the score first. I gave it a four and a
Okay.
half. Okay. I'm
Whoa.
probably the only person on
I have
for
to see
this
this
that gave this thing. No, there's
now.
no, I don't take that as any kind of endorsement. Um,
Yeah.
this was definitely thank you, elves, for bringing me and David close together in
Okay.
our hatred for for everything you've put together in this movie. Um,
Oh, what? You
yeah,
hated it so much you give it a four
it's
and a half?
so bad. We just had a good time,
Yeah.
like a mystery science theater kind of thing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So we had a
Yeah.
good time picking it apart. Um, it's called Elves. There's only
Yeah.
one elf in it. Um,
Okay.
it looks like some Dollar Tree. I don't know if you have Dollar Tree in Canada, but whatever, like
You have, like, Dollarama, I'm sure it's the same
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, like costume. It just looks like a shitty Halloween costume from there. And
Okay.
there's no one actually even in it. They're just kind of holding it and moving it around. And
No. Ooh.
yeah, yeah, you'll see. It's brutal in its low
Have you seen,
budgetness.
have you seen Hobgoblins?
No, I have that on my. I think I have
Okay.
it on my watch list. I know it's notorious in the same way I think
It's
Elves is.
so bad.
Yeah,
It's
like it's
phenomenally
with like
bad.
Troll 2 and all those. But
Oh, well, Troll 2 to me is a masterpiece.
okay.
I think it's so incredible. And
Mm,
and, and I mean, I feel like this should be a future episode topic,
just
really deconstructing this idea of so bad it's good. Because
yeah,
to me, if a film is super entertaining,
it's just good.
it has value. It has
Yeah,
value,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know? And
yeah.
so I think with Claudio Fragasso or Fragassi, I think his mind is just like insane. Like, I don't know where he's getting these ideas, but that film, Troll 2, like, especially the first 10 or 20 times I watched it, I'm just so amazed. I've seen it so many times, you have no idea.
I want
But I
to
was
say,
amazed
oh
by it.
my God.
Ah! Yeah, yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, I just think that's actually one of the few five-star films for me
Yeah,
on
I totally
Letterboxd.
get it. I totally
Yeah.
get it. Yeah, yeah.
And
Elves was close to 5 stars,
okay.
probably for the
I'll
same
I'll
reason.
definitely watch it then. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, if anything to say, I mean, it's so out of control in what it's trying to do. Like the if this was a car,
Hmm.
and someone was driving this thing, it would
Yeah.
be they accelerate very quickly to like 100 miles an hour going downhill. The brakes
Hmm.
don't work. The steering wheel falls off. The front tires fly off. The car
What?
starts spinning, goes into a tumble. The
Yeah.
airbags don't deploy. Like it's literally everything wrong just happens, and it's just so bad. Um, yeah.
You just
Oh,
made me you just made me think of Mac and Me in the beginning.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Where
Yeah, do
the
you
yes. Oh my God. I almost have a panic attack
the
watching that movie, man.
the
It's so
alien
wild.
you know what I'm talking about, the aliens like running from the base
Yeah.
and then it gets in the car accident.
Yep. And then it's like smashed on the yeah, the eyes are like "Ooh." But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's just wild. You're just like, man, pick an idea and run with it. And then
Right,
honestly, you're
right.
just like, you know what? I'm glad you did it. It's got
Yeah.
everything. It's got an elf, a monster. It's got Nazis. It's got, um,
What?
yeah. So that's a little bit of elves for you,
Yeah.
and it
Can
gets
you
better
imagine
from
though
there.
if it was called Elf? Like, because you said it is only one alien.
Yeah, yeah, elf.
Someone's just like, "Hey, I
That'd
rented
be
that movie
great.
Elf you wanted to
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
with Will Ferrell in it."
Which one was Will
Like,
Ferrell? Was it the homeless Santa Claus? I don't know which.
it's gotta be this one. It's PG-13. It's
Yeah, no, it was Willie. That was one of his first roles. Will Ferrell.
oh yeah, Willie Ferrell.
Yeah, but
That's awesome.
so that's Elf. Yeah, and now I'm sure you
Okay.
can't wait to watch it. But I got to know
Yeah,
what
I
you
know
think of it.
exactly when I can watch that one. That's
Yeah.
that's not like a daytime watch. So
No, 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 no. Absolutely not. Oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah. So you may like watch something like that with Belial. Maybe he may up his score from 3 stars to 5.
I'll talk to him about it next time I see him.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's one. You have to share that one with a like-minded individual.
Yeah, you can't go into that one alone.
No, no,
Because you
no,
watched it
no.
with David, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was the
Okay,
perfect.
yeah,
It was the perfect movie to watch with him.
okay.
So yeah, that's that. 4.5 elves.
All right. So my last one is a totally different direction that we're going in here.
Okay.
I watched it last night. Yeah, it's to Leslie.
To
It's a
Leslie. Okay.
drama. Yeah, and yeah, it stars Andrea Riseborough, who was in Mandy and
Mm.
Possessor.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, and here she plays a woman who wins the lottery. I think it was like $190,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the film starts. They show her winning the lottery, and then they fast forward to the present, where her life is just in ruins. She became like a huge alcoholic. She abandoned her son, so now he's living on his own, and he had to kind of raise himself. So she's kind of knocking on his door, like, "Hey, it's me. I've cleaned up my act. Like, can you help me out and give me a place to stay?" And then the film just kind of does like a rough tumble through tragedy for a while, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's like a pretty good, I want to say like a redemption arc to it.
Mm-hmm.
She ends up basically like stranded at a motel that Mark Maron runs, and he kind of feels bad for her, and he ends up giving her a job, and then eventually it leads to her being like, oh man, like I'm hitting rock bottom. I got to clean up my act. But yeah, it wasn't, the most groundbreaking story of all time, but
Mm-hmm.
it was so well written and so well acted that it was just like, wow, okay, this is like taking me back to the 70s of watching like an incredible film, with that kind of like gritty, raw take on acting and just like a level of authenticity that you don't really see in dramas anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was phenomenal, and I ended up giving it 4.5 stars.
Nice. Oh, geez. I'll
Yeah,
have to add that one.
yeah. Andrea Riseborough is just insanely good in this. Like, I don't know if you're a Cassavetes fan at all, but it just reminded me a lot of like Gina Rollins, and especially in A Woman Under the Influence.
What was the name
Are
again?
you to
To
Leslie?
Leslie. Okay, to Leslie.
Yeah, it's kind of a simplistic title. I wish they went with something a little bit more bombastic. I don't know, but yeah, the poster's sick.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It looks good.
Yeah, it's
Jeez.
cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely get on
Yeah.
that one. Okay,
Hmm.
to Leslie. Is it something that I'm gonna kind of it's gonna break my heart?
You know what? It's that rare movie that will break your heart, and I don't want to spoil it, but put it back together
Put it
again.
back together. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
all right. Okay, sounds good. All right. So my last film is Arcade Attack.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Mike Wallington. I don't. Let's see what else he's got. Two other films that he's directed that I've never heard of. Um,
Mhm.
Dressing for Pleasure. Oh, this
Ooh.
one. I'm adding this one.
Wait,
Look at this.
dressing
A
for pleasure? What does that
documentary.
mean?
So it's a documentary about fetish clothing, the fetish clothing scene in the 70s. Here, if you can, let me
Oh,
see if you
what?
can, let me see if I can
Uh,
hide behind this. It's not going to do it. It wants to
dress. Okay,
blur.
so Dressing for Pleasure is his documentary on what did you say it was? Like the
Dressing,
leather fetish scene?
fetish clothing scene in 70s
Okay.
Britain. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I just added that
So
to my list.
would that be like Vivian Westwood and Malcolm McLaren like tying into them? And like would it I guess like
It
tie into punk or
it might. I don't know. I don't know what
okay.
the 70s fetish scene looked like in the UK.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I just know about
yeah.
like Vivian Westwood and Malcolm
Hmm.
McLaren's store. Was it I think they called it Sex, I want to say. And it
Hmm.
sold I hope I'm not getting this all wrong, but yeah, I could have sworn I read about that and like that's how kind of led to them,
Mm.
getting the Sex Pistols together and everything. But anyways, this is a film podcast. We should not talk about
Okay,
that.
all right.
Yeah.
So Arcade Attack, 25-minute short film. I don't want to spoil it because there's a big twist in it, but
Yeah.
it does present itself like a documentary, like a nightmarish documentary about the transition in I guess not digital entertainment, but this kind of like so we're going from pinball versus what do you call them? The Space Invaders versus Defender, and it's like this evolution of entertainment, right? How we went from this
Okay.
kind of analog to digital, and
Yeah.
it even opens up with like a museum. Not I don't know if it's a museum. It looks like a creepy abandoned theme park of all these things that people used to play with, and
Oh,
yeah. Then it cuts to the pinball stuff. And anyway, everyone's making a case for why their form of entertainment is the best. So you got Pinball Guy who
hmm.
dresses like Elvis Presley and has a Confederate flag hanging on his wall,
Oh
surrounded
no.
by Elvis paraphernalia. So
Okay.
why? I have no idea, but that's what it is. And then he has like the pinball thing he's playing, the marquee. He's got it tattooed on his back, so he's
Whoa.
hardcore. That's how you
Yeah.
know. And then it goes to the other guy who's playing Space Invaders, and he explains, his love for that or whatever. He's not really featured
Yeah.
as much as the others, but my guess because that digital entertainment transitions anyway to something more complex, like Defender, which was I don't know if you ever play that. It's just
No, I'm
this
not familiar with that
inf
one.
infinite scrolling screen where you fly a ship back and forth and shoot all the
Hmm.
little aliens and pick up the humans before they're abducted. But
Okay.
you've got this like defender. He's like a zealot, like for this thing. And he's explaining. He's like, oh yeah, the uh, He's like, no one understands like the how complicated this game is and what it takes to be good
Hmm.
at it. He's like, I like fighting the chompers. They're easy, but when the brutes show up, he's like, all bets are off. And he's just like really into this thing, and it's just
Yeah.
hilarious how he's just kind of like dissecting the game for us, and we're all,
Okay.
as I'm just like, what the hell is the point of all this? And like, okay, uh, halfway through, I would say, just over halfway through,
Mhm.
the whole thing takes a hard, just this sharp turn into
Mm.
like you're like, whoa, what did this just turn into? And
Okay.
I won't say what, but it is it's welcome because by that point you're just kind of like, I just want to shut the like I don't really give a shit about
Yeah.
this Elvis impersonator pinball playing moron and
Yeah.
this obsessed defender fanatic. So yeah, it's a good payoff. I think it is if you stick with it. And
Okay.
I
Well,
gave
it's
that
only
one.
what, 25 minutes,
It
right?
doesn't
So,
ask much. It does start to
yeah.
feel long when you're like, all right, how much more
Interesting.
can we watch these people drool over their vice, But
Okay.
yeah, yeah, stick with it, and it has a nice like this turn that I think pump some life back into it, and it's like, oh, okay, now this is
Mm.
pretty cool. So I will say,
Mm.
if you're a fan of this really doesn't give much away, but if you're a fan of heavy metal, the card like
That I am.
yeah,
Oh,
not
the
the,
comics.
the
Oh,
the
okay.
comics, yeah, not
Yeah.
the music, the comics,
The I
or if you like that '80s fantasy, dark fantasy stuff, and you'll see.
Okay.
That's all I'll say on it.
Sometimes.
I Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
gave it I think I just gave it a heart because I really didn't know what to rate this thing.
Mm.
I just put I liked it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
definitely recommend it's worth watching. Everyone should watch it
Okay.
at least once. And
Yeah.
it's got really good reviews actually. I'm looking at it on
Oh,
Letterbox. So,
damn.
yeah, that's Arcade Attack. Heroes of the Pinball Arcade Race. Okay, don't read the synopsis.
Okay.
I
Oh, it
almost
gives
spoiled
it
it.
away.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. I highly recommend it. If you're
okay.
gonna watch this, just go in blind with
Going
whatever
blind.
I've given you, and that's good enough. You'll see.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all the stuff I have. So that's pretty much all we have for the first episode of our yet to be named podcast with
Mhm.
all the contributing members of 13th Floor, which
Yeah.
also may see a name change again. So with that, I'm Jeremiah,
I'm Bob.
and we look forward to the next one.
Yeah.
See ya.
Peace.